My name is Sawyer Swenson. I'm a senior athletic training student at Florida Gulf Coast University, and this is my leadership summative presentation project. I would like to begin my personal mission statement. It is my mission to provide state-of-the-art sports medicine services to student athletes. These services include prevention of athletic injuries, recognition, evaluation, and treatment of athlete injuries and illnesses, rehabilitation and reconditioning of all injuries incurred by student athletes, health and wellness education for those student athletes. In providing these services, I will strive to utilize the most efficient, proven, and current technologies, including the best equipment available. Consistent with this goal, I aim to offer a healthcare system that is proactive in approach, reducing the risk of athletic injury for our student athletes, provide easily accessible sports medicine services that are responsive to the needs of the student athlete, and facilitate injured student athletes' safe return to participation in athletic competition as soon as possible. The philosophy behind this is that the needs of the student athlete will always be the first consideration for all members of the sports medicine staff. As for my personal vision statement, it is my vision to provide athletes with the highest quality healthcare available. I will strive to stay updated on knowledge and practices providing the most effective and safe approaches to healthcare. So the next 6 slides, I want to talk about concepts that are beneficial in leadership. The first concept is extreme ownership, created by 2 Navy SEALs. They said that all responsibility for success and failure rests with the leader on any type of team, in any kind of organization. It said that the leader must own everything in his or her world. There is no one else to blame. So it means that the leader has to acknowledge the mistakes and admit to the failures and take ownership of them. And they have to try to improve and develop plans to fix the next time around so they can have a win out of it. They can't just take responsibility for their job. They have to have extreme ownership of everything that happens. And it's a very fundamental concept that every leader needs. And it has to be the #1 characteristic of any high-performance winning team in any kind of team, whether that be military or an organization or sports or even just a business team. Taking extreme ownership leads to a successful leadership. So the second concept that is beneficial in leadership is a concept by Bill Ekstrom. And he tells us that we have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. He says that what makes you comfortable can ruin you, and what makes you uncomfortable can help you grow. Being uncomfortable can motivate you to start a new journey. His example was he got fired from his job and he was forced out of his normal, ordered life and forced to start a new journey, to start something new that he wasn't comfortable doing. And he says that eventually you'll stop growing if you choose to be comfortable. You have to choose complexity. And he says there are 3 trigger things that can lead to complexity choice. 1, it can be forced upon you, like how he was fired. 2, someone can help you get there, whether that be parents, teachers, coaches, bosses. Because people on their own will naturally choose to stay in their comfort zone. They don't want to be uncomfortable, and it's just not the natural thing. So you have to be forced out of your way or have someone has to help you. Third thing is you can trigger it yourself. And all of this comes down to a good leader is because leaders have to choose to take the next step, to get out of the comfort zone, to go the long run, to do what's most beneficial for their team, their people, whoever it is that they're leading. They have to choose to be uncomfortable. They have to choose the complexity side of life. So the third concept that is beneficial in leadership is a concept by Steve Covey, the 7 habits of highly effective people. He says that habit #1 is be proactive. Habit #2, begin with the end in mind. Habit #3, put first things first. Habit 4, think win-win. Habit 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Habit 6, synergize. And habit 7, sharpen the saw. I want to focus a little more on habit 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood. I think that in order to be a leader, you have to understand your people, your team, whoever it is you're leading. Because if they see
something and they think it should be done a certain way, but you don't agree with them, you want to hear what they have to say, why they think that, and then turn around, have them understand why you think it's the better way to do it this way. Because as a leader, you have to be able to balance it all out, take in their opinion, see which way is best. Well, sometimes someone in the crowd will have a better idea that you didn't think about. So it's always good to kind of see and understand them. And then if you still don't agree with them, say it in a way that they'll understand you. So maybe they'll agree with you. Okay, you're right. That is a better way to do things. So I think that's a really good habit that a leader should have and should kind of understand, is to understand and then be understood.
Another concept that is beneficial in leadership is the personality plus. This is beneficial because as a team leader, you need to know what each team member has as for a strength or as a weakness and who they are personality-wise. You have to know their characteristics so you can put the strengths to the best use, and the weaknesses can be covered by someone else that is a little bit stronger in that area. That way you get the best outcome from your project or your game or whatever kind of team you are a part of. And as the leader, you need to know all these strengths and weaknesses so you can make it work and flow as perfectly and without any error as possible. You need to know your own characteristic as well, so you know how you lead and what the best way it is for you to choose, so you know your weaknesses, so you can have your team help you out with those weaknesses and give you ideas or anything just to make it all flow so you can be successful as a leader and as a team. So the fifth concept that I want to talk about that is beneficial in leadership is the tribal leadership. There are 5 stages of this tribal culture. First stage being everything, life just sucks in general. Second one being my life sucks. Third one, I'm great, but you're not. Fourth stage, we're great. And fifth stage, life is great, everything is great. Most of the time, people will be on a team and they'll think, I'm great, you're not. They'll be at stage 3. As a leader, you want to get them to next stage as we're great as a team. And then ultimately to stage 5 where life is great, everything is great, this team is great. And the hard part about that is going back to the personality plus. You have to know the personality of each of your team members, because there are just some people out there who are selfish, who want to be the best of everything out of everyone, and they'll be stuck in stage 3 for a while. So as a leader, you have to kind of know who that person is, kind of figure out a way to get them to mold with everybody else so it can become a we're great stage and then life is great stage. So as a leader, you gotta focus on all of the ups and downs of the whole team. You have to see the whole picture to get to stage 5, which is the ultimate goal. So another beneficial concept in leadership is a concept by Admiral McRaven. He spoke at the commencement at University of Tennessee, and he said that if you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. It is a small, simple task that can be easily overlooked and be seen as unimportant, but he described it as completing the first task of the day. He said, if you complete this task, you can go on and complete another and continue on in that same cycle. Even if you have a terrible day, you can go home and you have a made bed that you did on your own. It's such a small little thing, but at the same time, it can change your whole day, make you productive. It can make you really just focus and know what to do. So I think that this is a concept that's beneficial in leadership because of just the small attention to detail that you have when you're making a bed. When you walk into your room, your bed is made. They think about the detail kind of thing. And that's what I think is a good leadership skill that someone needs to have if they want to be a leader. So I want you to think back now on 7 habits of highly effective people. And let's focus on habit number 3. Put first things first. This is a common phrase, but it doesn't exactly mean that it's common knowledge. What I want you to think about is what's urgent versus what's important. Urgent means it needs immediate attention, short-term things. Important means you move closer to your goals, whether that be reading, working out, or learning, long-term kind of things. But how does a leader implement this habit? A leader implements this habit by planning adequately and separating duties so more things can get done on time and more efficiently. If everyone's trying to work on one thing, that one thing will get done and it will be good, but it's just going to be one thing getting done. All these other things will start piling up, and then all of a sudden due dates are coming around or games are coming around, and all of a sudden you're not prepared for the entire thing. You're prepared for just that one part of it. And the leader needs to have good communication with his team. He needs to be able to tell who, what, and what to do. He needs to be able to delegate with them. But he also needs to have the ability to compromise and improvise, because things are going to happen. Things are going to come up that weren't planned, that you didn't want to happen. So you're going to have to be able to find a way around that to be successful still. So for a leader to implement that habit, he has to be flexible as well. He has to be able to have good communication. He has to be able to plan adequately. And he needs to be prepared for anything to happen. He needs to be ready and on his toes to figure out a new plan just in case something goes awry. But he needs to be able to communicate that with his team. And he has to have a plan for, okay, if this happens, we're going to do this. So you have a backup plan. You have a couple backup plans. But he needs to be able to just be ready for the important things to get done. That way you don't have any urgent things. You want to spend the most time in quadrant 2 where you're just focused on long-term things. It's just important because you don't want to just be having something urgent all the time, because then you're going to be stressed out and you're going to be freaking out the whole time thinking, okay, I got to get this done, but I also have this coming up. But just as long as you plan adequately and properly, then you'll just have long-term goals figured out and you'll be on time with everything. So in conclusion, anyone can be a leader. As you see there, if you have appreciation, commitment, strategy, responsibility, humility, listening, communication, determination, principles, purpose, passion, honesty, values, integrity, all of those characteristics make up leadership in a person. You don't have to be in a defined leadership role. You do not have to be the boss of the company or the captain on the team. But if you have that communication with the rest of your team, the responsibility, if you have passion for what you are doing, and honesty and commitment to do it, you are a leader on that team. Maybe not the head guy, maybe not the one that speaks out, but if you are listening and if you have appreciation for what's around you, and going back just to what Admiral McRaven was saying about just making your bed in the morning, that's determination, purpose for your life for the rest of the day. Just to be committed to doing one simple task at a time. It's attention to detail. And just having that respect for every little thing and every little detail, and knowing that they're all important, and kind of spreading it out to the rest of your team and having determination to make the best of what is there, that's a leader. You don't have to be in that specific role, because anyone can be a leader, including you.